that you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Good morning, crew. It is Wednesday. It is February 11th. Thanks to Peak Alerts from the El Paso Teller County 911 Authority for sponsoring today. If you live in El Paso or Teller County, you should sign up for Peak Alerts. The officials in the counties will let you know about what can be at times some life-threatening situations, man-made or, of course, natural disasters. You should always have multiple ways to get alerts when things could be affecting your family. You know what? It is my mom's birthday today. Chris Meister, happy birthday. Hope you have some fun things planned, Mom. I doubt she's up watching this, but I want to say that anyways. Obviously, very important person in my life. I am feeling under the weather a little bit today. So I am going to kind of bang through the forecast here and then probably make today a little short. However, if you have questions, if you want to come on the show, use the links that I put in the post here for the live show. They are the same every day, so you can save them. You can come on the show, you can ask a question or something like that, and we'll get underway. So let me do a little bit of weather. Yesterday was a cooler day. Took the dog out for a walk, Banjo. He had his jacket on. I had a jacket on. It was chilly where we were. 45 was the high in the Springs, 50 to 55 along and south of the Arkansas River in a lot of areas. Alamosa was warm at 59, and I'm not sure what happened in Salida. I was asking the folks at the Weather Service if they saw that, if somebody backed a jet up to their thermometer there, 72, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's possible we had a strong west wind for a little bit. It seems a little too high to me. I'm not sure, but, we're always keeping an eye on that stuff. Behind the cold front, we are a little bit cooler this morning along the eastern slopes and over the plains than we were this time yesterday. Look at the numbers as you head out the door this morning. 19 in Eads, noticeably warmer in Springfield. Typical Colorado variation, but I did tell you that I thought we'd have fewer spots in the 30s this morning. And that certainly has been the case. Salida's down to 18. And check out the western slope. Warmer in Montrose this morning where it's 48. We are going to be warmer today than we had yesterday. In fact, that leads me into Banjo's barometer for the day. He's got his jacket back off. It's the easy to understand 0 to 10 scale of if it's going to be nice or not. Banjo's got that thing up to an 8 today because, it should be better to be outdoors than it was yesterday. So we'll come back to that here, and we'll do Banjo's buddies in just a little bit. Starting to look at the pattern change here for the end of the week. And we have seen some snow this morning in Crested Butte. And that is good news. We should see it off and on over some of the mountain areas through the day today. And let me show you why that is, because we're getting this storm to come up from the western United States here. And you can see it rotating off across the coast of California, spreading moisture into Colorado. And that'll be the case here for the next few days. So we've got showers that have been light for the most part over the mountains here this morning. We've got some rain moving toward the Phoenix area and scattered showers here and there over the Great Basin and off across the western United States. You can see that the snow has been mainly along and west of the Continental Divide early this morning. I checked the cameras at Keystone, at Breckenridge. I'm sure there's a little bit of snow up on the higher peaks, but I couldn't really find much of anything happening early this morning. We do have some clouds across the area. Those will be with us through the day today, and you can see that the snow over the mountains should actually pick up a little bit here as we head through the afternoon. We'll keep it all there, maybe catching some over the Sangres late. Most of us at lower elevations and in the mountain valleys here from Buena Vista and Salida probably going to be dry here over the next 24 hours. So that's just something to be aware of. We'll keep the snow up across the high mountain areas. But over the next several days and through Friday, I do think it's going to be a decent snow. I'm a little bit higher on my forecast than if you are somebody that samples forecasts. I don't know why you're doing that. But if you do, my numbers are a little bit higher than some other areas because I think here in the sort of sustained southwest flow, and this is kind of through Friday, in a couple of different rounds here. A couple spots, probably between 7 and 12 inches. I'm not sure we'll get to the 12 inches, but I do think we'll get more than 6 inches in some cases. Our numbers today warm back up compared to what we had yesterday. So we see some 60s show up along and south of the river. Springs up to Denver, you know, mid-50s to around 60 probably does it in most cases. 50s again for the mountain valleys. And it's not a particularly warm storm. I think some of the ski resort bases will actually be above freezing here later on today. We do get, though, this southwest flow to start coming down east of the Continental Divide, down the slopes of the mountains. And there will be a few areas here where you notice some pretty stiff breezes in the afternoon on the order of 20 to 30 miles per hour. We probably keep that in some of the, terrain favored areas, maybe across the Palmer Divide. So not windy per se, maybe in a couple spots, but I would say noticeable breezes. We will have some lighter areas out across the plains as well where we'll keep it under 15 miles per hour. So if you're in a spot where the breezes aren't bad, you'll just be the beneficiary of the warmer air today coming down the eastern slopes of the Rockies. And then I do think we get more areas in the 30s overnight tonight. So it should be a little bit milder than what we're waking up to this morning. And still a warm day on Thursday. But then the temperatures should start to drop a little bit in the afternoon. We're kind of back into the 50s and 60s, maybe a couple degrees warmer here in the southeastern corner of the state. The storm coming toward us just doesn't have a source of cold air to deal with, but we will cool things back on Friday a little bit, mainly into the 40s and 50s, couple 60s here in the southeastern corner as we get the heart of this storm to start to move across the area. So let's watch it together. Here's this ridge of high pressure that's starting to break down in the southwest flow out ahead of this low. There are several waves that will eject from this thing here, and that'll keep the snow going over the mountain areas. And you can see the heart of the system here off to our southwest. As we move into Thursday, we're still getting snow over the mountains. Tomorrow's going to start off dry across the eastern plains. But this system moves in from the west across the Great Basin as we head into Thursday. We might get a little bit of a break, or at least sort of a lessening of the snow up across the ski resorts. But as one of those waves moves out across the lower elevations, late in the afternoon into the evening tomorrow, we may catch a couple rain showers at lower elevations. I don't think it will be a big deal. Not expecting anything heavy as we move through late tomorrow into tomorrow evening. I certainly wouldn't cancel any plans around that. Then we get into Friday and you see the heart of that system moving overhead. Now I'm going to go back to the desk here and I'm going to walk you through that. I'm going to slow it down. We'll go through it again in detail here because I want to let you know what to expect here as we move through the back part of Friday. So I'm going to manually kind of walk this through here. And you see as we move through the morning, we're having snow over the mountain areas, and then we'll get our best chance of what is probably mainly rain showers at lower elevations here as we move into Friday night. And then by the time we wake up on Saturday, I think that thing is mainly out of here and we get a ridge of high pressure to build back into the area. So our extended forecast is looking like this. I'm going to show you Colorado Springs. I'm going to show you Pueblo. In the Springs, chance of a shower late tomorrow. It'll be mainly north of Highway 50. And then on Friday, we're not as warm. And again, as we head from Friday afternoon in particular into Friday night, we get our best chance of showers. The higher you are Friday evening, maybe you see some wet snowflakes mixing in. That's certainly a possibility. Any clouds around early on Saturday, get out of here, and we get some sunshine and temperatures warm up into early next week. Early next week has a couple concerns to talk about, and that's what I'm going to wrap my forecast up with today. As we look at Pueblo's extended forecast, our best chance of a shower is going to come late Friday into Friday evening. I think any of those showers late on Thursday are probably to our north. But we're back into the 60s Saturday. We see some 70s as we head from Sunday into Monday and a temperature drop on Tuesday. And you see I've got a windy icon on there. Let's talk about early next week because we get this ridge to build back in over the weekend, and that's what brings the temperatures back up. But as we head into next week, here's what happens. Watch this system come in from the west, and as we move into late Monday, see how the colors are getting sort of a brighter, more intense kind of orange off to our southwest. That's a jet streak that's rounding the base of this trough. And as that noses into Colorado, depending how quick that happens on Monday, we may start to get really windy. This is a pattern here that screams fire danger, with that jet kind of increasing on the leading edge of this trough. And then as we move into Tuesday, the passage of that jet off to our south, and you see this little kink in the flow there across kind of Wyoming, that sends a Pacific cold front into the area. So as we move into Tuesday, we're going to see some really, really windy conditions across the region, and that is a high fire danger day for sure. Now, what's nice about this is that system probably brings some snow to the mountains of Colorado. So it's a fire and ice kind of day as we move into early next week. The ski resorts are picking up some snow, and along the eastern slopes and lower elevations, we're worried about fire danger. But that's the first of a couple systems for next week, because we bring another little kink in the flow here across the area late on Wednesday. You see that little dip in the black lines? That's the flow lines at about 18,000 feet. That's a wave that's moving through. That probably brings some snow to the ski resorts. And then as we move into the late part of next week, we have another system approaching, and you see a jet streak rounding the base with that. So it may be another situation where we're talking fire danger at lower elevations, but in this, at the ski resorts and up into the mountains, we're getting some snow again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the snow forecast of this model run through that same time period for next week. And you'll see several rounds of snow over the mountains in the western United States, including in Colorado. And as you know, that is good news. We need it. It doesn't look like a pattern right now anyways, where we're probably going to get anything at lower elevations, but it's something that we'll watch. I'm more concerned about fire danger next week than I am about any precipitation chances locally. So that is what's happening out there today. Okay, let's see what folks are saying here early this morning. Becky's checking in. She says, we need the moisture. I agree, Becky. Even if we're not going to get it at lower elevations, man, we need it in the high country. You've seen posts from me, I know, over the last several weeks about the snowpack situation. If you missed the post I did about some historical perspective from the state climatologist, Russ Schumacher, I posted that the other day. I do have that up on Peaks2Plains Weather. .com right now, and I'll pull that up to show you where that is. If you go to the blog up at the top there on the navigation area, takes you to the blog page. I have what I wrote about the snowpack remaining historically low. I do have a link in there that kind of takes you to a place that talks a little bit more about that. You can go to the state climatologist office. It's up in Fort Collins at CSU. Russ is a really, really good guy, and he has done some perspective that goes back into the 70s and 80s about our historic snowpack. Ryan is excited about the ski resort snow. Yeah, we need it. You know, they've been working really, really hard, and things are different than 25 years ago up at the ski resorts about making snow and moving it around in a year like this where they need to. Because, man, I tell you what, there are some places I don't think would be open. If you went back to, let's say, the late 90s, I think some of the resorts would have few runs open and maybe wouldn't even be open. So there you go. Jeremy says, feel better soon, Matt. Thanks. I appreciate it. Like, I'm not, you know, like I mean, I think women say that men whine when we're sick. Like, I'm not at that level yet, but I'm not too far off of it. So anyways, I am... I'm dealing with it, right? That's what you got to do. You got to pick up and move on. Marty says, please don't let this storm go south of us. You know, at least there are several to talk about, Marty. I think that is certainly some good news. Last thing I'm going to end with this morning, we can't forget about it. It's Banjo's Buddies. And today I've got one from the Verheyen family in Colorado Springs. It is their dog hanging out, enjoying sort of the last of the snow pile in the yard here. This is Woody. This is from late Monday. Letitia sent this in. And I just heard Banjo right now, my weather dog, wanting to get in on the action. If you would like to submit your four-legged friend, your fish, your guinea pig, your hamster, bearded dragon, snake, I don't care what it is, download the Peaks2Plains Weather app. And in the bottom right-hand corner, I've got a send to Matt little thing where right from the app you can take a new picture or a new video and send it to me, or you can go into your photos and videos and you can send me something there as well. You do have to have your email hooked up to the app, and when you set that up, it'll walk you through that. So my friends, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic day. Again, Marty hoping that the storm doesn't go south of us. Becky knows that we need the moisture. I know we need it too, and at least we've got a more active pattern here on the way for the next week and a half or so than what we've had around here as of lately. Have a great Wednesday, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow morning on Mornings with Meister.